Short commercial break, and we are still discussing the transportation here on the topical discussion. It's exactly 2 minutes past the hour, that's of 9 a.m. The transportation industry in Uganda. So we are talking about, of course, before we wind up the break, we talked about the aspect of reliability and all that. But now, let's talk about, since we are manufacturing these buses within Uganda, let's talk about the potential, let me say, exporting these buses, not only for the, because I believe it's not only going to be for local consumption.
No.
What's the export plan like?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Government has invested quite a massive amounts of money in the process of manufacturing these buses with Kira Motors Corporation.
Yes.
And these buses at full capacity, Kira Motors will be able to make about 9 buses.
9 buses
a day, yes,
a day
at full capacity. Of course, that will take time to get to, but that is
okay.
I want to just give you an idea.
That's the future.
That is the future.
Okay.
And I think it has a lot also to do with the markets that His Excellency the President are trying to pull together in terms of the East African community. With all the countries now that we have, the DRC, South Sudan, this is a massive market for the buses.
Okay.
So yes, there's a strategy to, first of all, have these buses here, fully operating on not only in the greater Kampala, eventually into all the other towns, and then eventually for export.
Okay.
Yes. Many people ask the question that are these buses fully made here?
Yes.
So I wanted to touch on that. Yes, they are fully manufactured here. Yes. But as you know, in the vehicle industry, even the big boys like Mercedes and Scania,
Chevrolet.
Yes.
Yeah.
They specialize in particular aspects. For example, when you look at this bus, the engine could be, Cummins, Euro 3, aspects of Bosch components, of Voith and so on. Yeah. So yes, Kira Motors is going to build these buses here, and government has given them a target to have 65% localization by the year 2030. So there are many aspects of this bus that we can make here. The seats, things to do with plastics eventually as we improve, the glass, and so on. Yes. So the industry is massive.
It's massive.
Just to give you an idea, that the mass bus transit bus system with local manufacturing will be able to employ about 100,000 people, both directly and indirectly.
100,000?
Yes. Let me just give you an idea. As the operator,
yes,
if I'm operating 1,000 buses, operating 3 shifts, 8 hours, the maximum by law that somebody can drive a bus is 8 hours.
8 hours,
the city bus it moves an average of 25 to 30 kilometers, so it's slow. The stages in the CBD are almost 500 meters apart,
yes,
and then out of CBD, 1.5 to 2 kilometers. Oh, okay. So the most you can drive is 25
kilometers.
Yes, 25 to 40 kilometers. So we shall have 3 shifts. Okay. So that means we have our captains, what other people call drivers. We have what the others call conductors. We call them stewards. Because with the cashless system, what we're going to have is really customer service personnel on this bus. Because you'll come without the cash element. The cash element is one of the issues that has caused these issues you see in the public transport, issues of change, and so on. Yeah. But of course now with these issues and the pandemic, you want to avoid as much as possible the handling of cash. So without the cash component, then what we have is customer service. People focus on the passengers. Okay. And then they are going to be assisted by a control center. These buses are highly digitized, like I said, for safety, cameras, and so on. Yeah. But meant for the safety of our passengers, so that we can be able to monitor this, whatever is happening real time on the buses. So, Kira Motors has a goal, yes, to be able to make buses for use in Uganda and also for export. And we shall be able to create many jobs. So the current players we have in the transport industry can actually be reskilled for other sectors. for leather, for the chair, for the seats.
Leather, yes, they can
and
most of
yes,
the chairs, yeah.
rubber eventually for those who can, plastics, glass, and so on. So there's a goal by government to ensure that nobody loses a livelihood.
Yeah,
those who have been in the transport sector and many others, but also for youth employment. So this 100,000 I'm talking about should be able to help us deal with the issue of youth employment.
Okay.
Also. Yes.
Very interesting. Maybe we're still talking about the exportation aspect.
Yes.
You were talking about mapping out these boundaries by the international communities, like markets. These markets, for example, if you say that you want to export. So let's look at what criteria is being followed when mapping out these boundaries, like the markets where these buses will be exported.
Okay. Of course, when we talk to the other players in the industry, it is very important that these markets are profitable.
Perfect.
So if, for example, they are working with Kira Motors and they're buying the engines from them and the brakes, Bosch, and so on, then they will make sure that in this region, it will be only Kira Motors Corporation
that is exporting.
That is producing these buses and exporting them.
Yeah.
And so that, because what our economies in this region are small.
Yes.
So you can't have a bus producing company in each of these countries.
Definitely.
So what you do normally is the bigger players sit down and say, we will have it in Nigeria, we'll have it in South Africa, and now for this region,
it's Uganda.
It will be Uganda, yes. So Kira Motors is at the fore of producing both electric and diesel buses for this region.
Okay.
In terms of their preparedness. If you have an opportunity to visit the plant in Jinja, you will be amazed at how far this has gone and the input of government to be able to save most of the foreign exchange that goes into importing second-hand vehicles.
Okay.
So you can imagine a situation where you are replacing all the second-hand vehicles with brand new vehicles.
Brand new vehicles.
What it will do to our environment in terms of cleaning it up and also service to the traveling public. Yes.
Well, now there is somebody asking themselves a question: why Uganda in this region? Because we've seen our neighbors that seem to have great economic potential, but why Uganda?
Okay. Yeah. I think it really comes down to the foresight of the leadership, especially His Excellency the President. You have heard him say before that the bus companies wanted to import these buses.
Yeah.
That was about 2019, and that was stopped. And he said, no, let's focus.
And
it may take longer, but let's make our own buses. Because you'll be assured of maintenance of these buses. You'll be assured of a fantastic service which is close by, so that you don't have to park your cars and send for somebody to come from another part of the world to have these buses diagonized and sorted out. So the benefit of having the buses made in Uganda in terms of employment, in terms of the environment, in terms of saving of foreign exchange, in terms of the taxes that the government will be able to benefit from, is immense. It's immense. So yes, the guidance of His Excellency the President in this particular aspect. Yeah, we applaud him for that. Let's focus maybe to have these buses made here and use our own products. I think it's key in determining that the buses be produced in Uganda.
Yeah, maybe talking about the transportations within, should we expect that some will also be cross-border going to, like, for example, some people that are traveling to Sudan?
Yes.
You know.
From the fleet that Kira Motors have made so far, you have heard of the coach, the one that recently went to Naivasha. Yes. These buses will be able to cross borders eventually. But as Tondeka, we are focusing on the city bus service.
The city bus service.
Yes. The other players, Kalita and so on, are focusing on moving passengers up intercity and also across borders. Yes. Eventually, when you're producing these buses, you will not limit yourself. It's a good business idea to be able to not only produce the 12-meter, the ones we are using, but there will also be eventually 8-meter, 10-meter buses for the school projects and so on. Yes, to be able to transport different market segments.
Then I wanted to give us a highlight regarding, there was something I wanted to put across, like you've talked about all the benefits, and it's all coming down to the consumers, the populations, and I know people are so excited about that.
Yeah.
But this is business at the end of the day. Yeah. I'm trying to weigh down the balance, coming back to the profitability of your company to ensure that the staff, you keep the staff, because they need to be. 100,000 people is a big number, and some people might have a perception, okay, 100,000 are probably, we should be paid this amount of money. They might dictate the pricing, I mean the salary, the wages. So how do you look into that, whereby you provide the service, the best service to the local population, but also you as a company, you sustain yourself? Because if you're out of business, these people are going to lose. So let's take a look at that balance.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We are looking at that from a number of angles.
Yeah.
We are building a very strong team. But like I said, we had done an empathy map to understand what are the problems the current transport industry is facing. And one issue that really came up a number of times was the fact that there's job insecurity in the industry. Somebody wakes up in the morning and at the end of the day, they have lost their job. So we are, as Tundeka, we are going to ensure that we provide stable employment that is even pensionable, that you can work in, and after you've retired, you can still be able to benefit from this. So we are not only changing by providing these buses, but we are bringing into place a number of other issues to move this sector from being informal to formal sector. With governance, with a number of issues that are going to ensure that this business is successful, not only for the passengers, but also for our staff and the internal market in the company. So we are working on that with very many different players to make sure that it's a successful project and a project that we should be able to see in place for the next
50 years. Seeing a private company in Uganda putting up that pension system, I mean, that's quite a history. I'll say that. I mean, it's like rewriting history.
That is true.
That's so interesting. Yeah. So now let's talk about the partnership between the private sector and government in the transportation industry.
Thank you. I told you we have been in operation for about 4 years.
4 years,
We just started a month ago. And our starting, I can say we have been blessed that we've been able to study what some of the companies that have been previously in this business have gone through and that have let them meet the obstacles they have. And one very important one was acceptance by government of this project. Government input in the mass bus transit is key. When I talk government, I'm talking about the central government, I'm talking about the municipal councils, because you are dealing with a number of municipal councils. We are dealing with Wakiso, with Mpiji, and Entebbe and some of these, but also Kampala City Council being the biggest in the CBD. Because if you are going to, for example, request for things like the bus lanes, we have to work with City Council. The Minister of Works has to give us the permit, so we are working closely with the Minister of Works and Transport. We are working with the City Council for the infrastructure that we want to have in place. Currently, you can see that some of the bus furniture we are talking about is at the stops. These have to be comfortable. Well lit, so that if we're going to operate a 24-hour service, we want to also cause behavior change. So that people can know. Many people are not able to work at night simply because they don't trust that they have a safe and reliable public service system.
You're right.
So, but if we change that, then people will start to engage, so that you don't have everybody rushing into the city center in the morning. You'll have people being able to operate 24 hours because there's a transport system. And then you have people who will be able to come into the night, purchase whatever they need from the city center, and then leave. So that what we have is just the core, the public servants and all these people who work in the city center coming in. So the issue of having acceptance by government for this project, is key. And we have been building that over time. And that's why we are working closely with government through Kira Motors Corporation. Kira Motors Corporation is the government entity.
It's entity, yeah.
All 96% by government and 4% by Makerere University.
Okay.
But it's basically the representative of government in the project.
In the project.
And we because we need both the public and private sector, we have come together. And this was the right time when you look at what has been happening in terms of COVID, the cost of transport going up, the cost of fuel. As a result, recently you have seen fuel.
Though it is starting to dip.
It is starting to drop, although
by small bits.
But it has really hurt our economy.
True.
And so government has decided that let's come up with a system that is affordable, convenient, that is safe, that is reliable, to be able to move. When you look at public transport, I wouldn't want us to just look at it as an aspect that moves passengers from point A to point B. It's much bigger than that.
Yeah.
It is a system that ensures that our children go to school, tomorrow graduate and become important citizens and contribute to our economy.
Yeah, definitely.
It ensures that our people move to hospitals and get treatment so that they can be productive. It ensures that the different sectors, so it even aspects such as health are key. How do we move
very important.
Our passengers? So this is the right time for us to move from the smaller carriers, the 14-seater taxi matatus, the taxis, and the 29-seater to
60.
Actually, our bus takes 84.
84.
Yes, we have 36 people seated, and then the rest, about 48 standing.
Okay.
And because it's a city bus service, it's also very healthy for us to stand on the bus after sitting for long hours, from 8 to 5. So the city bus is made in such a way that it can also allow you to stretch a bit. Yes.
Wow, that's
for distances which are not long.
Okay.
Yes.
Very, very interesting. Maybe let's talk about the challenges you've encountered for the years of operation.
Yes.
Yeah.
The challenges I touched on some of them. The issue of financing for this project. We have different players, and we call on the private sector because there are many other areas other than the bus that we are looking at.
Okay.
We are looking at the terminals. These are massive transport hubs, transport interchange hubs, where you will have people traveling from up country being dropped off
from
at
a certain
these points. People in the taxis being dropped off onto the bus system.
Okay.
So in that terminal we are looking at, we'll have a massive maintenance center, we'll have a commercial center, we'll have a police station. It will be big on about 15 to 25 acres. So it will be a massive transport hub that allows interchange of passengers from one mode to the other. So we call on the private sector to come in. For example, we will need to have what we call park and ride facilities along the routes. It's not only at the end of the route. For example, in Banda or in Kisasi, you'll have what we call a park and ride facility where you can drive your car, park, jump onto the bus, go to work, and then in the evening come back to this point. Okay. The bus drops you, you pick your car, and you go. So we're talking to even most of these places that you see that currently are night parking areas. Okay. If they can improve on their security, the perimeter wall, cameras, be able to observe, the surface is paved and it's big enough, the current washing bays and so on. We're talking to all these people to see that we can all benefit from this ecosystem. Okay. Yes.
Wow, that is very, very remarkable. And maybe depending, because this is really something of great benefit to the population.
Yes.
The Ugandan out there is asking themselves. We've seen transport systems similar of that kind come into existence, and some weared out slowly by slowly. And now they want to know how reliable is this, that it will keep on moving and these services will be, like you said, 50 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah.
Like I have said, we cannot discount the input of the previous players.
The previous, yes.
Most of the employees that we have been in this industry for 30 years.
Oh yeah, that's
starting off at the basic level, at touts, into taxi conductors, drivers, and now managers. We have brought together the current players in the transport industry at various levels, board level, management level, and the basic body politic of the organization, the staff down to the. There are so many other people we engage. For example, the stage marshals who ensure that the space at the stage
is available.
That during the peak time, there's an orderly queue that is going to access the bus before the bus comes.
Yeah.
But now that it is digitized, we have apps. We can see that the bus is coming in. It will be here in 2 minutes. So they organize the people so that we can have an organized system.
Okay.
But with the digitization, digitization leads to efficiency.
Efficiency, definitely.
And the system is highly digitized. There are so many other aspects that you don't see around this bus, but we are able to operate and observe the number of people per stage. Okay. At a particular time, we can tell so that we can determine how many buses doing at this stage. At a particular time, during the peak time and during off-peak.
Okay.
For example, we have worked it out in such a way that during the peak we'll be able to operate about 95% of the fleet. Of mid-peak, we'll be able to operate 70%, and then off-peak, which is night, public holidays, Sunday, about 20%. But always have the transport available for the public.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Very, very interesting. Well, it's exactly 23 minutes. That's past the hour of 9 a.m. Just about a few minutes and we wind up. Maybe just the last remarks to the viewers right there.
Yes. I want to take this opportunity to thank our viewers and the traveling public.
Yeah.
They have received our service well. We are getting good reviews. Please keep the feedback coming on social media, through any other media, even directly to us, so that we can see how we can continuously improve on the service. We promise that we are going to improve on the reliability by increasing the fleet. First quarter of next year, we're going to receive a bigger fleet of buses, and we'll be able to bring down the waiting times, so that our public can be able to receive a bus at a stage after between 5 to 8 minutes, so that you can plan your journeys well. We are working on the app so that you'll be able to see where these buses, the application, so that you can be able to see where the bus is and plan your journey, so that you know at this time I need to be at the stage the bus is coming. And you'll be able to see all this on your phone, on your gadgets, to be able to plan your journeys better.
Okay.
Yes, but we thank the public for receiving us well, and for the feedback we keep getting to help us improve.
All right. Well, thank you so much. It's been a great pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's so interesting right there. And it's still the topical discussion, and we've come to the end. It's 25 minutes past the hour. That's of 9 a.m. We've been discussing the state of the public transport in Uganda, but in particular, the mass bus transit system. And of course, we've heard everything, and a lot is expectant. As a nation, we are expectant regarding these services of the bus companies, and a big respect to the government in partnering with the private sector to make this possible. As something that we are seeing the efficiency, and of course, we are yet to see more. And I believe 50 years or even 100 years from now, Uganda will be in this kind of state of transportation, and this will be very key to economic growth and development. All right, let's get into a commercial break. SMB returns